Welcome to the Best You podcast, where we explore the journey of inner peace, harmony, and joy that comes from living authentically. Every week, we will dive into transformative conversations that describe both the way you can create behavioral change for yourself and how to create the conditions that promote peace, harmony, and joy around you. Whether you're seeking balance, deeper relationships, or a spark of inspiration, you're in the right place.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Best You. Excited to have another opportunity to share our thoughts. Sanna and I are really feeling a lot of gratitude for having an audience like you, and also having some knowledge that we continue to build that we can share and help us all live our best lives. Today, we want to build on the last two conversations, which were peace within. And, our goal, we believe in life, is for everybody to enjoy themselves while they're on this planet. This is a place filled with beauty. It's like, I think if you really look around, it's like paradise. It's, filled with trees and flowers and, just all those beautiful things, but also all the things that make our lives so wonderful. All the chemicals that can be mixed to make medicines, all the technologies that things that can be combined to make computers and cell phones. I mean, all these things. It really is a paradise, and it's up to us to pay attention and figure out how to make the most of it. And so Sana and I believe that we are here to enjoy this paradise, and at the same time, there's a lot of people who are feeling like they're just trying to survive this paradise, and so the question is survive versus thrive. And again, peace, harmony, and joy, we believe, is a great approach to help you to truly thrive in this, again, in this world we call our paradise. And the last two sessions were, if you're gonna have joy, the first step is to calm down, to have peace. And if your head is spinning, if you're full of anxiety, if you're just feeling like you're barely keeping your head above water, it's really hard to have any joy. But if you can get your head and your really your mind and your body in a good place of calm and relax, it is the foundation, we believe, for having a wonderful life within yourself and with others. And so again, the last two sessions, we gave you a lot of tips and insights, what we've learned over the years on how to get that peace. And the interesting thing is, once you're calm and you have that peace, doesn't guarantee you can have joy, but you now position yourself to. And what we have learned and what we believe is that this word called harmony is the bridge between peace and joy. So you're calm, you're feeling good, and you want to just have this amazingly joyful, energized feeling every moment, every day, if you can. How do you do that? And harmony within is about living your best life. It's about recognizing that each of us is here for a reason. Just like this planet is like paradise, has all these amazing things. Hey, you're here and you have all these amazing things. You have talents and gifts and passions and interests. And the question is, do you know them? And are you willing to live them? So before we go further, I'm going to go to Sana. You've got a lot of great talents and a lot of interests, and you seem to have a way of staying calm and utilizing these talents. You want to share some of yours and your thoughts on harmony within?
Yeah, it's really such an important concept. And Scott, I really appreciate you bringing it to the attention of everybody with your wonderful, beautiful work. For me, harmony within has been absolutely critical. And I've told this story over and over again, but I spent the first 36 years of my life living absolutely inauthentically. And my life was just a disaster. Although if on the outside, you would have thought me to be super successful. I had my whole life together. I had everything going for me, and I did. But I was just a mess because I was not in harmony, or I was not in alignment with who I was at a deep level. So harmony to me means being in alignment with who I am at a deep level, not only my purpose, but my values and my strengths and what I most want to do in the world. And so For me, it was a real journey to first realize that this was an issue because I was just totally out of my head. Think, this is what would a good life would be. I had like a checklist but I wasn't ever really checking in to make sure that it actually felt good to me. Like it sounded good to me. I thought it was good, but it didn't feel good. And so there was this big disconnect. And I feel like this is a challenge for so many people in our world now, or in the Western world, because we're really rewarded, or at least most of us are really rewarded for what we think, what we know, our intellectual capability. For me, it was also degrees and all that academic pedigree. Um, and and we're not really taught how to value self-awareness or emotional intelligence or being able to be kind and helpful to others, or even taking what you think and then turning and making it a reality, or even deciding with what you think is it the right thing to do. So so that harmony within is so important and something that we rarely talk about. And I really thank you, Scott, for bringing it to the intention of so many of us. The other way I like to think about what to do once you have peace, I've been thinking about this a lot lately in terms of people who are very good at being mindful and present. So if you have like a really great mindfulness practice or a Buddhist practice, that's really great. But until we heal the disconnects within us, we can still be reactive. We could still react to things instead of responding. And maybe we're a more peaceful reaction. But it doesn't necessarily mean we know how to respond in a way, again, that is in alignment with who we are and what we really want, what our inner truth is. Nor do we necessarily know how to move forward in the world. So turning reaction into response and also having a sense of agency, like, how do I want to be in the world? What do I want to bring about and bring forth? What matters most to me? So when we can create harmony, we can be more in alignment with those big questions. And what else do we want to move into besides not reacting?
That's excellent, Sana. And you said so many good things there. And I want to circle back and touch on some of the key points. First and foremost, everybody should appreciate that Sana is truly a role model in this area. And, through these podcasts, she has shared a lot of her journey. And, I applaud her for not only identifying her interests and her passions and her purpose, but going for it. Because I can tell you there's a lot of people that have had similar thoughts in their heads that Sana had, but haven't gone for it and are not living their harmony and are actually feeling the stress and anxiety because they're not. And it's interesting, how did Sana get there? How do most people get there? Well, the fact of the matter is, there is no real classes in school that teach you how to live your harmony, live your best life. There's your parents, that's not something I think most parents, are thinking about with their kids. They probably aren't living it that way, and they haven't been educated on that. So your friends, I mean, where do you learn this stuff? And the truth of the matter is, the reason Sana got in the situation she was in, and the reason most people get in those situations, and by the way, I was in that situation, is because when we're young, we're educated, we're told that we need to get a job that'll pay nicely, get a job that looks impressive, get a job that maybe will give you power, get a job that, might take you around the world. I mean, getting a job is like a big thing when people are young. And in fact, if you think about what school is teaching the skills, whether it's English or arithmetic or, whatever it is. I mean, they're giving you the skills so that you will position yourself to get into college, which college, you'll pick a subject and that will prepare you for a profession. And then the profession will hopefully give you what I just described. And that is what movies show. That's what, books read. I mean, that's basically, the glamorous life that most people when they're young set out to achieve. And what's interesting about it is, again, it can give you good money, it can give you power, it can give you glamour. And I think most people don't realize there's another way to live or a better way to live. Most people, when they're going down this path, they may feel some stress from it. They may feel like it's not exactly what they want to do, but they feel like it's what they're supposed to do because everybody's told them to do it. And what we're trying to do is to get people to understand there's a better way to live. Uh, the funny thing about it is, I recently announced I'm retiring from my company. It's a Fortune 10 company, and I've been there for almost 30 years and made good money, have a be whatever else that comes with it. I'm a senior executive there, and I'll, be leaving there shortly. In large part, I'm retiring so I can have my harmony within. And I was enjoying things, and I was doing a lot of things that with good people. But there's so much more that I personally can do to live my purpose. And I think that, again, many people believe there's lots of other things I'd like to do with their life, but they're scared because they've got financial responsibilities, whether it's children, whether it's house payment, whether it's car payment, whether it's all these other financial obligations, maybe it's their credit card payments. I mean, so many people can't do it, they believe, because of their financial obligations. They're also scared to do it because of, what are people going to think about me? What are people going to think if I'm not having this really flashy, glamorous job? Are they going to think something's wrong with me? Are they going to think I haven't succeeded? Are they going to think that, maybe they don't want to associate with me anymore? I mean, these are thoughts that I truly believe go through many people's heads. And what we're trying to get you to understand and appreciate is that, first and foremost, we are here for a purpose, and we have special talents and gifts. Every single person does. I guarantee you do. And the question, are you using them? And if you're not, our bet is that you are probably feeling, restrained and feeling the stress and anxiety that goes with that. And the question is, can you use them and use them fully? Some people are using them somewhat outside their day job, but the question is, can you do it all the time? Because if you do it all the time, again, if in a calm way, you're using your gifts and your interests and your passions, your talents, you'll be amazed how much joy you will have on a consistent basis. And so I want to go back to you, Sanna. When you first off identified your passions and your interests, I mean, what was kind of going through your head? I mean, you were a very successful professor, tenured, all this great stuff. What made you think that you maybe wanted to live a better life? What were these things that you identified in yourself?
Oh, I was a train wreck. I was having a lot of chronic pain and fatigue, and my marriage was on the rocks, and I mean, I was just unhappy. I was just unhappy. So, the adage that money doesn't buy happiness, that's really true. I mean, I experienced that firsthand, and the research also shows that our happiness goes up proportionally until our needs are met, and then it levels off. So to your point, Scott, I mean, it's not a bad thing to get a job and make money to support yourself. I mean, of course, we have to do that. What we're saying is that we don't, excuse me, what we're saying is that we shouldn't do that to the exclusion of taking care of our sense of what matters most to us. And that we can, and it's hard to do it when we have little kids and we're trying to make a living. But as time goes on, as we become more aware of these strengths and values and purpose, that we can integrate them more and more into our life. Maybe it's in our family or extracurricular activities, maybe more and more at work. And as we develop ourselves and evolve and advance in our work, that we move closer and closer to that sense of who we are. And I mean, the foundation has a lot of coursework on this, and I feel like it's really beneficial for us to invest in that self-awareness. But for me, it boiled down a lot to this one idea, Scott, that if if I want to sound impressive, then I should follow my head. But if I want to be happy, I should follow my heart. And so I say that a lot because it just demonstrates the difference between being smart and being wise. And so we put so much emphasis on smart and knowledgeable, less emphasis on wisdom. And so what my hope is for all of us is that we move into greater wisdom, that we allow the challenges and discomfort in our life to show us what's not working or what could be better. And if we're not enjoying it, if we're not feeling it, if it feels way too hard, and life is hard, but when we're using our strengths and we're doing things that we love, it is much easier. It is much more joyful. We are much more likely to be successful and do well. So when we lean into that discomfort and we lean into those roadblocks and we use it as a chance to reflect upon ourselves and whether we are in alignment with our values, our strengths, and our purpose, that we can course correct. Because if you'd asked me back then, excuse me, if you'd asked me back then, I would have said my work was very purposeful. I mean, I was a professor. I was doing research. I was teaching. That's very purposeful. That's great. It just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. Well, parts of it were. I loved parts of it. So it might sound purposeful to your head, but if it's not filling your heart, then that is an invitation to explore and to adjust. What advice would you have for people, Scott, who, of course, generally have to make a living and pay the bills, but with what little resources they can have to explore, what do you recommend?
So I think that, it's interesting hearing you talk because you did have a job with purpose, and you were, and you were fulfilling some of your purpose. The question is, again, if we're living in this paradise, and are we supposed to just survive or live or do our purpose? Or are we supposed to have joy when we're doing our purpose? So joy in everything we're doing. And I encourage people, first off, take a look at whatever your job is, whether you're a parent, whether you're a professor, again, it's important. And if you're a parent, you're not going to quit being a parent. Hey, I think that's an important purpose for everybody. The question is, can you find joy in it? And you can, because I guarantee you, every single person who has children, there is so much talents and so much gifts that you can give to your children. And I encourage you to, again, stay calm and just think about all that wonderful stuff you can do for them. You'll be amazed how that'll position you for joyful experiences with them. And I think if you're a professor and you're living your purpose or living part of your purpose, I think the first thing to do is again, what are your talents and your interests and your passions? I mean, it could be perfect for you. I mean, that could be your harmony within. For Sanna, it wasn't. And I think the point is be honest with yourself. Is this truly something I love doing? Do I jump out of bed every morning? I can't wait to teach those children or those students, or I can't wait to do that research. I mean, that is a passion. It can't just be something that's your purpose. It's got to be something that just you can't wait to get out of bed every morning, and you're curious, how's the day going to go? And you're just excited and you're energized by it. That's how you know it's something that you were created to do. If it's something you're doing which is just, you're helping people, but it doesn't thrill you, it doesn't excite you, then I think the question is, what does excite you? What does thrill you? And there's lots of things, and there's lots of things that pay. And I can't tell you how many people I've had this conversation with that have followed this advice and actually found something that pays as well or better. And if it doesn't pay as well, sometimes they say, hey, the value of the change far outweighs the money that I may not be making. I think the point that we're trying to make with you is simply be honest with yourself and what really does get you excited, and then go for it. Don't be scared. You only get one chance to live this life, and we encourage you to try to live every day of it the best you can. And it's amazing what you can do. The other thing I'll say is there are lots of people living their purpose without joy, and I will just say that, and I think this is what Sanna was getting at. it's nice for you to live your purpose. Nice, doctors, lawyers, teachers, police officers, firemen. I mean, all those people are helping others. But if you cannot find something that gets you excited to get out of bed every day with it, you're you're not doing your best work, and you really are taken away from what your true purpose. And in fact, in our new book, Your True Greatness Awakened, we talk about joy plus purpose, or purpose plus joy. I mean, that is your greatness. But there's so many people that are doing something to help others, but they're not enjoying it, and they just they're just getting through life. And we just encourage you to find things that purpose plus joy, and truly live your greatness. So back to you, Sana. Anything you can suggest in terms of people that taking their purpose and turning to joy, finding joy within it?
Well, I think the joy comes naturally when you really are living your deepest sense of purpose, your most authentic sense, that and when it's in alignment with your values and your strengths and your gifts. So there's this concept called the ikigai. It's a Venn diagram, and what you're good at, what the world needs, what you can get paid to do, and and um, and there's another circle, but where those all intersect, where it's important or something like that, where those all intersect is that sweet spot. And so I really do believe it's a process for a lot of people, that just moving more and more towards that. For me, it came on like a bolt of lightning. And it was exactly what you said, Scott. I had been invited to do some leadership development work, and I found that I was just jumping out of bed. Oh my God, I can't believe I get paid to do this for a living. And I was like, wow, this is what work should feel like. And so, but I stumbled upon it. And so when I did my capstone for my master's, I studied callings. So a job is something you do to get paid money. Career is a place where you can advance and grow and also get paid. But a calling is that thing that you say, I can't believe I get to do this for a living. But not everybody finds that. I do believe, though, that it is always in front of us, because I had been doing this kind of thing informally for years. And people were saying to me, Sana, you're so good at this. You should do this for a living. And I just kept going, do what? We're just talking. And then one day it was like an epiphany. Oh, this is a thing. This is a transferable skill. So just pay attention to those moments where you're having joy, like little doses of joy, little doses of feeling of great satisfaction and meaning, and you're having a lot of fun and you're really creative, and people are going, wow, how did you do that? Those little tiny doses of joy are like your breadcrumbs. So I call them breadcrumbs. So don't just brush them away. Take notice of them. See if you can build on them. Create, have more and more of it in your life. Explore and develop it. And when you do that, then doors start to open for you potentially. The other thing I will say, Scott, is a block to harmony within and joy is not managing or healing your triggers and your pain points. Because when we have those, we feel much more of that than all of that positive feeling, or our ability to find and detect and develop those positive feelings. So dealing with your triggers and pain points is really important. We talk about that in some of the other episodes of The Best You, like on the hero's journey and that kind of thing. So it's a really important topic. So it's really worthwhile. Just give yourself a few minutes every day to reflect on this and notice and lean into things. And over time, you'll notice that your life is very different. So it's very few other things worth prioritizing as much, in my view.
I totally agree. And I will bet you there are some people who are listening and saying, well, I don't know what those things are. And I liked how you said pay attention to those breadcrumbs. That you probably are having moments of joy, or feeling passion, or excited to get out of bed in the morning, and that energy, and pay attention to those things, because I guarantee you're having some signals. However, we encourage people to go even deeper. It's not just pay attention to those moments, but explore. Like truly, like think about what you loved to do when you were a child. Did you love to cook? Did you love to write? Did you love to, you know, you know, put things together? I mean, what was it that you loved to do when you were a child? So many people, when I've had these conversations, have these things, and then their parents told them it wasn't cool. You couldn't make a good living. Their friends said that, that's not what you want. I mean, there's always these reasons, and it wasn't going to be a high paying job. Wasn't going to be glamorous. For whatever reason, they gave these things up when they were children, when they were young adults. Think about those things that you truly, truly enjoyed then. Also, ask your friends and your family, what do they notice in you? What do they see that lights you up? Oftentimes they see things that you might not see because you're so busy, because you're trying to survive. And all I can say, I think what Sanna's the point she's trying to make is we have these things in us, and the first step is to identify them, and then the second step, which I think the first step's pretty hard. The second step is even harder. Is to be authentic. You've got to go for it, and and it's not just throw everything away and just jump into the sea. It's go for it in a thoughtful way. How can I make a living? How can I truly enjoy every day? And I think we believe, again, each of you is special, and we're so happy to be able to talk to you. We're trying to help you, be your best you. And with that, we're going to say, wishing you the best for finding your harmony within. And once you got the peace and the harmony within, you are positioned to have consistent joy. In our next episode, we're going to talk about joy within. So thank you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Best You podcast. We hope today's conversation sparked some new ways for you to cultivate your inner peace, connect meaningfully with others, and embrace the joy of living in harmony. Remember, being the best version of yourself isn't a destination. It's a daily practice of growth, reflection, and kindness to yourself and those around you. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it for you to subscribe, share it with somebody who'd benefit, and leave a review to help us spread the message of peace and joy. Stay connected, stay inspired, and we'll see you next time on The Best You.